Buying low, selling high. That's the name of the game. This is the PulseChain logo on my necklace. Shout out to Yane from AussieGreatest.com.au, friends, making a lot of HEX and PulseChain and PulseX merchandise. I mean, it makes it easy for everybody to wear the flags when you have all these merch going around. So I love every single one of you. I'm going to spin the helicopter hat. Buying low, selling high. Ain't so easy though, is it? I'm eventually going to lead into this chart for you, friends. I know there's a lot of complicated stuff going on, but it literally is this Wall Street cheat sheet. But even though everyone knows this chart, for some reason, it still happens. How does it still happen? Everyone knows, oh, we're believing, we're euphoric. It's because people are disagreeing on what they think prices are at that given point in time. Whether something's too cheap or too expensive, that's what makes a market, right? And then the bull market ends when you run out of buyers. What I'm going to do now is play some Pumpy G music. Remember, it's all about the buyers. I'm now going to start with some PulseChain speculation. Okay, so if I had to guess, I'm going to guess that PulseChain will pump at the end of this cycle. Okay, now I'm going to show you why, and it's not just based off the past, it's because it makes the most sense, all right? Now, this is going to be very, very important. So, if I was Richard Hart, I would pump it at the end. Why? If you pump too early, so what I'm now going to do is just show you the HEX price chart. So, HEX actually did pump towards the end. How you can actually view this is you could put like the BTC chart, and you can actually just type in BTC USD, and then you can do a new price scale, and you can see this is what pretty much Bitcoin did. Okay, we'll make it a nice orange line. You can see this is what Bitcoin did. It was already here, and look what HEX did in that moment of time. Whee! HEX went another 30x. See, Bitcoin stopped here. But let's use an example of why it's important to look at things like that. I'll just do it over here, friends. So pretty much, okay, when there are, if you have a lot of coins here, all these coins here, they're on the floor. If one coin starts popping up heaps, okay, and these things are just like dead, okay, this coin, it either has to be a unicorn or it's expensive. That's it. All right. Now, when you have a big market cap or representation of a lot of people in the PulseChain community, which is what we are right now, we have like 200,000 people. It's not like enormous. I mean, friends, SHIB grew to 1 million people in 1 year, from 1,000 people to 1 million. So if, actually 1.3 million. If PulseChain got to SHIB, it's a 5x on the user base. That's 25x price increase. So if you're just curious, if we just got to where SHIB is in December 2021, let's have some fun here. Where would the price be roughly? It would be a 25x from today. Whee! That would be around there. Be at 13x. Stay one sec. Okay. So let's go back to this example. If you have this coin running up, it runs up and up and up and up, and now you're up here. Because you're carrying a lot of dead weight, non-believers, there's going to be sell pressure along the way. They're like, oh, you're expensive. Wow. Because basically, let's put another way to look at it. A 10x looks like a lot for a core coin, for a coin above the 1 billion market cap zone. It looks like a lot now. In the top 100, pretty much. Okay, in CoinGecko top 100, which is around 800 million plus. However, let's go through this example. So the 10x would look like a lot if you pump it at the start. But in a world where everything else is pumped, but these are all these coins over there, everything else is pumped. Now when you're down here, a 10x is still cheap. All right. So at the end, you're playing catch up. You have less resistance, and then it makes it even easier to pump up more, and I'll show you why. So if you pump up near that end, right, the investors, they are now psychologically conditioned to seeing big numbers, right? So if we go back to, let's say, CoinGecko, let's say Bitcoin is above 100,000 at this point. If we go to this top 100, friends, the top 100, right now 100th is 800 million market cap. Maybe when hopefully Bitcoin's 200K, maybe that is like 10 billion. 10 billion. So you're just like, you're so desensitized to these numbers by that point, right? And so all the investors are so psychologically conditioned that there's less selling, less dumping along the way. Now, if you wait to the very end to pump it, and remember, friends, it can thrash up 1 to 200, 300x. Who knows, right? Because there's reflexive buying. And we've shown a calculator. Shout out to the gentles who made that calculator. There's a calculator, friends. Pretty much all the examples I use where they just do a theoretical. If you rotate all the Ethereum in, how much of the prices move up, right? If you do it at the end, there's only the strong believers left. There's literally only the strong believers left, and the offers are more thin. There's a big gap. Okay, so you have higher FOMO. Also, some interesting stuff for you. Richard Hart, some say Ricardo Corazon, he believed that the market topped out in May 2021, and then HEX did a mammoth run from June to September after it. Okay, so I've written here, actually I'll rewrite what I put for the strategy. A good strategy might be to rotate your bull market profits from other chains and other coins out there into PulseChain calls and its altcoins of the ecosystem. Okay, that might be a good strategy because we saw this from Avalanche, right? When Avalanche, the SPI, went up in September 2021, you literally had Avalanche season. You had like Trader Joe and everything went up huge. Also, shout out to Mr. CryptoGaphix who made it. These are amazing, these cards here. More merch. That's actually amazing. See how the logo is really important. See how they use clashing colors as well? Not clashing bad way, but like clashing is in their striking, and it's really cool. These logos are easy to throw around everywhere. That's really good. Now, I'm just going to show you. Let's go back to this chart. I'll just remove all these coins. If we change to a regular chart, right? HEX, friends, according to Richard Hart, okay, so it doesn't matter what plays out. It matters a lot what the God Whale thinks. Now, I don't know. He's not God Whale, but God Whale is such a fitting name. Not just any type of whale, a God Whale with like a great beard, the big Moses stick, and like the, angel wings and stuff. It's a good way to think about it. Now, Richard Hart believed the top market had topped out here. Bitcoin was around 64K. Okay, he called it on the day. We dropped down, and look, you got to remember, you don't know the future yet. So according to him, in June 2021, crypto's now in a bear market. You get it? Like, oh, the top's here. Now, the bear market had technically started. It was just a downtrending momentum that's going to take a while to run out of all the buyers. Now, most coins still haven't recovered to this point of where altcoins were. So look what happens next. HEX does a muscular push to the moon at this point. So I know you just have a sample size of 1, and you can't really take that home, but it is interesting. So HEX pumped enormous after the cycle topped out according to him. But look where the price was. HEX's price was around 2 cents, goes to 55. So you do about a 20 to 25x after that point, okay? Now, what's also something to take note of, during that time, remember, after they're topped out, friends, okay, HEX in June of 2021 here, after it begins its run, the market had already seen Doge do this was a 250x. Doge hit 90 billion. See, and there's many other coins that were pumping hard as well. You had Doge, you had SHIB, all these big things. So remember I told you about that psychological training? People are now getting accustomed to that. Yes. So after you let all the other things pump, let them be the unicorns. Let them... Look, it's a lot of risk, by the way, because if you're not the unicorn, the market will just reject you. Also, another way to look at it, if you're Richard Hart, if you are, let's say you are a God player, okay, they're just speculating, okay, just pretend. If you're Richard Hart and you could see coin behaving with what PulseChain's doing right now, and then you thought in your mind, hey, what happens if I pump up PulseChain early and PulseX and HEX? What happens if I pump it up early? You are not going to know the full answer, but I'll tell you what I think I would speculate in my mind and what I think he would be thinking. He would be thinking there's a lot of dirty jeets with grubby fingers, and if we pump up early, they will then think that's a spending portfolio. So let's say you have 50 grand in your whole ecosystem. He pumps up the spear. Let's say you get literally now you have 500. If you're at the beginning of the bull market, there are other narratives that are going to occur after you. There are other meme coins that are going to run. More is going to make another thesis. Who knows, right? More crypto banter shows, more Ivan on Tech shows, all of these, more coins, DeFi, AI, real world assets. And so what will people do then? They will probably start picking away from their PulseChain stack, their core coins, to go buy the other junk. Because they will always have that new advantage, okay? They haven't blown their load yet. You blew your load early. Reverse the roles now, okay? Reverse the roles now. So if you pump at the end, you'll get the most FOMO. So even if you, let's go back to that example. Let's bring up the HEX example. If you're waiting at the end, friends, remember I had all the other coins here. If you let them go up, this is coin 1, coin 2, coin 3, coin 4, coin 5. Yeah, all of them up. And then here is us, Richard Hart, core coins, okay? This is basically, that's the treasury key of all the retailers and pent-up demand that can come into here now. And they blow their load on us. Also, they don't even have to start it, okay? He can use the SAC funds to do a giant move. And these people now say, wait a minute, this thing's now moving. And then they're the ones that maybe rocket it up even more. You see what I did? Basically just showed you a sequence of events of, is it better to pump at the start or at the end? And the answer is the end. And it's not the answer we want. I'm just like, if I don't tell you what you want. By the way, what does pump even mean? I don't know. Like, maybe we do like a 3 or 4 or 5x from here. Like, you know, that's might call it a pump. That's like, oh, you're moving kind of in line with Bitcoin or whatever and Ethereum. I want to show you what happened. Like, okay, you might want to ask, is there an example of super fast aggressive pumps at the end of cycles? That's actually the hallmark, the watermark of the end of a cycle is super fast, hyper aggressive pumps like you've never seen before. CultDAO. Okay, CultDAO. So CultDAO, my friends, did this. You're not even going to believe it. Like this thing, friends, from nowhere. I mean, it went, yeah, this is a daily chart. Think that it went from, oh my gosh, dude, it did, in 8 days, it did a 377x. 8 days. You saw that? 8-9 days. By the way, I was telling everyone to get out here. And then, like, I saw, I'll be honest, I saw Kyle Chassé and that Martini Gimp. I was saying CultDAO's the future. And I was like, yeah, man, it could be the future, but it's just, you're gone up 370x in 8 days. I just don't know if you're the future anymore, man. So, see what happens, friends. What is all this? This is, look when this was. This is March 2022. End of the bull market, man. You want to go back to March 2022? Like, we were about to, like, it was basically game over now by this point for the crypto markets. We're, like, hanging on an edge, a razor thin edge. Let's go back to March 2022. That's where we are now. We had, remember, Russia and stuff. So we're here. Now, you didn't know what was coming next. That's what it looked like, though. So you had all these FOMO. Just all of this is built up demand. You finally hit March, the very, very, very end, and then that's it. Everyone's like, that's it. I can't take it anymore. I've missed it on this bull market. I haven't retired. I've got to get in. And obviously, but that's what caused CultDAO to do that enormous pump. And that also adds to the reflexivity of everything. And also, why it's best to pump at the end, fans, is you don't know who's the unicorn in the rest of the altcoins that's going to go the furthest. Because if you pump a bit too early, you might be making a mistake. You're making a mistake in terms of, well, maybe you think PEPE's a bubble at 15 billion market cap. Okay. What if PEPE goes to 150 billion market cap? Okay. If you were blowing your load when PEPE's only 15 billion, it's going to be nowhere near the size of the FOMO. Had you just waited to the end of the cycle, maybe PEPE's near the 100 billion mark by that point. Okay. You see that? Now 100 billion is in people's minds. So even if you're skeptical and you're like, well, maybe you think Richard Hart core coins never hit 100 billion. All right, but if they never hit 100 billion, look, I've just got you to think about the number 100 billion now because a unicorn hit it. So now there will be buyers at 30 to 50 billion. Whether it reaches the target from that point doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're buying at 30 to 50 billion because you believe it's cheap. That's it. We win. We win. Just like friends with Bitcoin, there are going to be people buying Bitcoin at 100K because they think it's cheap. You see, holders win. Now what I'm going to do is I want to play some nice gentle angel music to smooth it on over. I love this meme, friends. I'll put my head on this meme. This is from the 1970s Japanese cartoon series. It's kind of amazing just putting his hand. I was like, yes. So you see the FOMO built up at the very, very end. It matters. Now, what will it actually look like? Because that's the size of the move, but this is what it's going to look like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through it with you because there's a bit to go through. So number one. Okay, so let's look at that number one part, and I'll have them basically mirrored on each other. Let's look at the mirror part. Number one is here. Retail optimism. You're rising up. And also you have number one here. Okay, so that is most of my squiggly lines. Retail optimism is the first push up, and then they start doing the bull market wave. In that first push up, a lot of non-believers actually appear. They say, we're too high, things are too expensive, market cap. New adoptees are coming in for the momentum money, and they will turn into high-octane traders. They make a fast 5 or 10x on their money, and then they tell their friends about it. Everyone keeps making money in this belief, optimism, thrill zone. So that's it. But down here, see, you have this hope, right? Then it becomes this optimism, belief, thrill. That's the big final pump up. You don't know when. Okay, that's why I'm showing you this. You don't know when. Is Richard going to rotate the money in early, middle, or late? Also, on a side note, if you knew you were going to get vampire attacked, okay, you would do it at the end. Because if he pumps it too early, you are just the money for the vampire attack people, right? Because right now, they don't think you're worth stealing from. If you pump yourself up too early, then everyone comes for your pie. Okay, that's something to think about too. After you move that momentum thrust up, now we're not there yet, right? We're building into that. If you want to know where we are in crypto cycle, it really does feel like we are in this. We did this hope and disbelief. We feel like we're just in this grinding part right now. We're so ready to optimism. We're just like, we were like rotating this optimism up, like we're ready for it. This rally is real, is what they say is that optimism part. What's going to take for us to believe this rally is real? I'm just guessing Bitcoin does that. You're like, oh, we're at 100K. Oh my gosh, we're actually at 100K. Wow. We actually hit $100,000. Like, I've been waiting years for this. Next comes part two. Eventually, see all those friends, there's high octane, fast traders. Remember I told you as well, in this area, you don't know how long it's going to bull flag out. That's why I'll probably be making videos for you. I go, look, if you have any leverage, if you have any cheat stacks, you've put in extra, if you have any credit card loans and stuff, shave off now and pay yourself, because just in case the next part's a bit gruesome, maybe it takes, maybe we want it to be over in 2 months, the interim part, maybe it takes like 6 months, you don't know. Just don't want you to do anything like, irrational, like sell bottoms after that. In that number 2 point, eventually you get that maximum market participation, and we reach that euphoria. And then in this zone, big whales, they'll be distributing slowly. Okay, so that's it. It's everything gets marked up, retail's in. Big whales are distributing slowly all over. And yes, they're peeling back. That's what happens every single market. That's how markets move, right? So that is this part up here. That is up the top, friends. I've drawn just this like rectangle. That's what it is. In this range up here, big whales are distributing over the mass mania of trading volume over time. So think of big whales distributing. Think of them like a tax on people's momentum, high octane trading. So remember, if you've been watching me, and I know you do, like, subscribe, I tell you how do prices actually go up over time. It's someone comes in, buys supply off the market, off the order book, puts it in their back pocket, walks away. All right? They've taken it out. So there's all these PvP traders. Someone takes, like, they're trading 100 coins, 100 quantity of a coin. Someone comes in, buys 60 of the coins, put it in his back pocket, and these guys are running out of coins to trade, and eventually gets marked up. At the tops, these guys who bought all of that chunk, they're now slowly putting back the supply onto the market at higher prices. That's what they're doing in that euphoria. So remember that big whale comes in, buys 60 coins. Then at the top, he's putting 1 coin back on the market every day. Yeah. Now, initially you think, oh, that's dangerous. Yeah, it sounds dangerous. The problem is, when this is occurring with Bitcoin, you will see the fastest, biggest, fattest, juiciest meme coin 100x's you've ever seen in your life. Just like I showed you with CultDAO. All right? Just like I showed you with that. That's big. 300x in freaking 8-9 days, yeah. So that they're taxing the market now. Okay? But it's like 1% at a time. 1% at a time. And eventually, you run out of buyers, they can't absorb the tax anymore. Which is they're just putting supply back onto the market. That's what they're doing. Supply that was out of the market, now it's back to circulating, right? Eventually you run out, yes, and that's where I have part 3, that next part. So you don't know how long this part 2 is gonna last, by the way. Everyone's gonna try preempt it. They're gonna think it's over. I mean, look at this, man, dude. We had racist coins appear up here, and I was like, guys, man, that's wild. Like racist coins have appeared out here, and it's not a top signal. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah, so. Things are going to appear. Maybe it's a Tai Lopez meme coin. We'll see. In that third part, we have I call the WankOff Distribution. It's just that red part. So the channel breaks. You can see the channel breaks down into the red. And it's what we have the bear market, right? You've run out of buyers now. And then like the buyers are downtrending in terms of quantity. And then that's, we break that range lower. You have denial, anxiety, capitulation. And then we head into the bear market. And so the cycle begins. So that's where the new believers will accumulate positions again as the true believers continue to hold through time. So once again, you're just seeing this is digital normal markets. This is what happens. Now, everyone, isn't it fascinating, man? I'm going to spin this helicopter hat one more time. Everyone knows this. Everyone can identify this. Everyone says they're going to buy low, sell high. Every single person. Yet, these cycles still happen. They get as ferocious at the top. They get as inverse ferocious at the bottom, which is depressing. It all still happens. There are still people who get like liquidated with their whole company at the bottoms. At the tops, there's gonna be tattoos. It's amazing. I don't know why. It's just like we learn, but we don't learn. Okay, there's always something new that sparks it, right? If you were aware of something like this, though, remember that second part, okay? So if you had 170,000 Ethereum, see, PulseChain, friends, has a point. It does have a point where the market thinks it's too expensive. So what would that be? That would be basically for the reflexive buying put in. How much supply from all the big whales, how much would they be distributing on everyone? If you've let every other coin go up, right, by this point, maybe they don't have to distribute at 5x. Maybe they'll distribute at 50x. Okay, so there's a difference between here and a difference between up there. But I want you to think about this. If you pump up too early and you spend all your ammo in this distribution zone, remember I told you these long-term whales are coming, they're slowly taxing the market in like extreme prices. So people selling now and trimming now doesn't matter, right? But the big selling when Bitcoin's like 200K, now it matters. If you're too early, the taxing done by the whales, okay, it's taking money from retail and then they go buy something else. They go buy the other coin that starts moving and then the other coin and the other coin, and you don't reach your full potential, right? So in a nutshell, you get to see that logically, it does make the most sense for PulseChain to pump at the end of the cycle. Now, whether it does or not, it's outside of our control, but I'm just explaining to you, if Bitcoin's 100K and PulseChain is like only up here, okay, only, or even less, like let's say it's only 3 or 4x up here, there will probably be people saying, well, it's over. This is the most we could pump. We're back here, okay? And I've given you a case why it's very possible we pump at the very, very end, a very late bloomer. You get the most ferocious pump. And you got to think, man, the hearts of people will have so much FOMO built up. Oh my gosh, Vincent. Imagine they watch coin after coin pump. This thing goes to 100 billion. This thing has meme coins. All these things going around. And there's always a group of people, they never made it. They don't listen to Richard Hart. They don't listen. They don't do the buy and holding. The coins are going up. These people aren't making money. They're buying the tops of stuff, then they're going and rotating out. So you have all that built up, pent up demand. And then finally, those are the hearts that can do something like that. That's what it might take. Okay. So I don't know if it's going to happen like that, but that's pretty much, that's part of my strategy. If other coins go up in other places and there's other market caps that get explored, let's say PEPE goes to 100 billion and sends Landwolf, or the Landwolf's up like 100x or something, right? Whatever. That is just something to think about, what you should be stacking. Okay, so something to keep in the back of the mind. If PulseChain's lagging, there's a case for that to happen, okay? But it's full belief. It's full belief. It doesn't work. Okay, it didn't work. So that's why you have to decide for yourself how much you want to allocate to this. Do you want to put half of your profits in stable coins and then half into Richard Hart? Or maybe you want to do like 80% stable coins, 20% Richard Hart. What I mean by that is, let's say you had a coin, you put in 1 grand in it, it gave you 20x. And Bitcoin's like 150K. That's what I'm saying. Maybe you have 20K now. You're like, you know what? I'm going to put 15K for myself, taking out profit. I'm going to leave 5K, rotate back that to Pulse, just stack Pulse. That's something you have to think about for yourself, but it is on the table at that point. And if it doesn't work and we just have a full-on reset bear market from that point, I mean, whoop-de-doo. That's the risk that we take with all of these, okay? But now open your mind to how someone can bunny hop a literal 1000x. They can bunny hop a 1000x doing this. Don't try to hunt for the poopers first, though, and don't think, oh, I'll just buy the things at the end when they start moving, because you don't know what's going to happen, man. But I got like 30,000 people watching. Everyone, we got a lot of people watching. Like, we don't know, like, what if we're up 4x from today's price? You know what I mean? It's not like you can tell the market to come back down for you. Okay, so all of these have risks, but it is something to think about, right? Considering how 2021 played out. Don't forget, it loves you. Like, subscribe, bell button, or catch you next one.